What's up everyone, Clark Glassford, founder of My Practice Interview, where I help you land your dream job. And today we're talking about another interview question, gets asked all the time, and it goes something like this: where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't know. Where do I see myself in 5 minutes from now? How am I supposed to know where I see myself in 5 years from now? Well, there's a way to answer this question. I've got a little formula, little tip, little tricks, like I usually provide you on how to answer this question. It's a common question that gets asked. You need to be prepared for it. But before I get to that, you're here for a reason. You are here because you're looking for interview advice, how to write a resume, how to navigate all the many steps of the interview process to land your dream job. You've come to the right place. Each and every week, I post new videos on my YouTube channel. So like, subscribe, share with your friends. Tons of information there. Also, in the links below is a copy of My Practice Interview ebook. Book written by me. It's absolutely free for you to download right now. That book walks you through each and every step of the recruitment process, how to navigate each of those steps so that you flawlessly prepare for your interview, impress the hiring manager, and then land that job you've been looking for. Get the book, it's free. You really got no choice. Just download it right now. But you know what? I want to get into this question. You want me to get into this question. So here we go. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about an interview question that interviewers ask: tell me where you see yourself in 5 years, or tell me where you see yourself in the future. Those are two of the common ways that question can be asked. It stumps applicants a lot of the time because they really haven't thought about it. They're thinking right here, right now, this immediate position, that's all I wanted. I just want to get an offer. I just want to get paid. I want to start working for this company. I don't want to talk about where I'm going to be in 5 years from now. I know it can be tough, but there's a few easy things you can do to answer this question in terms of your preparation. I'll get to those in a second. So, why do employers ask this question? They want to know that you've thought about your career path. They want to know that you've thought about your career path as it applies to the job that you're looking for and as it applies to the company that you're sitting in front of to interview for. So they want to see that you've connected the dots, you've got a bit of a plan for your career, you've got a bit of a plan for a career with that company so that they know you're interested in them. That is why that question's asked. Another reason they ask that question, really a lot of the time, is it's kind of an opening question. They want to get you thinking about, just getting into that interview flow, feeling comfortable in the interview. So they throw some kind of soft, easy interview questions, or what the interviewer thinks is easy, for you to start answering. But if you haven't prepared, like you've seen in all my videos, check out my interview tips playlist right here. It's always about preparation. And when you haven't prepared for questions like this, they can really stump you and throw you off your interview game. I don't want to see you do that. You don't want to do that. So that's why we're here, and that's why you're watching this video. Okay, so do say, when you are looking at this question and preparing for it, here's what you want to say. You want to connect your current job to career goals, okay? So the current job you're applying for to your career goals. So if you're in sales, you want to say, I'm excited to be a sales rep, and in the future, I see myself in kind of that sales manager type role, maybe marketing leader type role. So I see this as a position to help me get there as part of my career goals. That's awesome. That's exactly what you want to say to start that off. You're talking about your career and how this job can help you on the path that is your career. So next thing you want to say is, if it's okay and you haven't figured out where you are in 5 years, it's okay not to say that. It's okay to say to that interviewer, I don't really know where I see my career in the next 5 years, because let's take, for example, human resources. I'm applying for this HR specialist type role. There's so many different facets of HR. There's recruiting, there's training and development, there's things like compensation. This role is going to give me exposure to all of those. I'm not sure if I want to be a specialist in one of those areas, or maybe I want to be an HR generalist in several years' time. But those are some of the things I'm thinking about as I start moving towards my 5-year plan. So you've still answered the question by being honest and saying, you know what, I don't really know right now, but this opportunity here is going to give me exposure to help me focus on the area of HR where I want to get to in 5 years. An interviewer is going to be perfectly okay with an answer like that. Again, be honest. as an interviewer, I want to hear you being honest. So whether you know your career path and you want to state it, let me hear it. If you don't know it, that's okay, but think about it in relation to the job you're applying for and the exposure and experience you're going to get, what you expect to see at the end of that 5 years, whether it's more experience so you can make a decision or you know specifically the role you're applying for. Also, another tip here, be realistic in your answer. You don't want to say if you're starting an entry-level position that in 5 years from now, I expect to be the president of the company. That's probably a little unrealistic unless you know that that's the career path that they're hiring you for. So be realistic in terms of where you can actually achieve within those 5 years. That is critical to answering this question. So you ask, what's the formula? Clark, you said there's a formula. You said there's a step process to answering this question, and there is. I've got the step and I've got an actual example that I worked through with a client that we'll go through together here. So the step formula is this. Discuss 1 or 2 career key points here, career goals that you're looking for. So those are 2 things you wanted to add in. So here's my career goal. Here are 2 things about my career goal that you need to know about me. You want to build that into your answer. Next, discuss how and why you will do this. So how are you going to achieve that? Whether it's you're going to work with different clients to get sales exposure, whether you're going to work with the various facets of human resources to get experience in those areas, that's the how and the why, right? So you're getting into the role, you're going to get experience. You want to be able to answer that as part of your illustration when you're giving that example. And the last is finish with your ambitions of where you think you're going to be in 5 years and beyond. Sometimes that can be a little bit hard, but as an employer, what I want to hear is that you actually have a plan. You have a plan as it relates to the job you're applying for, and you have a plan with my company. You're actually thinking you're going to be here for a bit of a career. Okay, so those are some of the things you want to say. Now, I've got an example that I worked through with a client, and here it is. So this client of mine was looking for a sales job, very interested in sales, and here's what we wrote out together. And it's going to sound a little robotic, but they put it into their own words for the interview, but it will follow that formula. So here goes. I'm someone who loves learning sales, so in the next 5 years, I see myself as having established strong sales base with multiple clients in the business application sales side of ABC company. By working as a sales rep, I will have gained experience in fully understanding your app offerings, marketing and sales tactics, and excellent client relations. I will use my skills and knowledge to contribute to ABC Company's sales and growth strategy. This will give me a good foundation in sales and marketing practices and help me leverage new trends effectively to create ongoing client accounts. From there, I'm hoping to decide if I'd like to become a sales regional manager, where I'll be making bigger picture choices regarding campaigns and sales, and where I'll be leading a team. The formula, discussing 1 or 2 key goals, discuss how and why you will do this, and finish with your ambitions beyond 5 years. That's the 3 steps. I just gave you that example of how you build that in. It's a quick 3 paragraphs. That is how you write it out, and then you practice that for the interview. Now, those are all the things you should do. What shouldn't you do? So a couple key tips here of things you should not do. So say things like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do in 5 years from now. I don't know what I'm doing in 5 minutes from now. Not exactly landing on a good impression with that interviewer. You want to put some thought into this. So saying I don't know is not good enough for a response. Work through the example I gave you, work through the tips, even if you don't know how to respond to that question. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Have some sort of comment that implies you're leaving. So have some sort of comment where you're making a statement that implies that you're actually just here for a minute, and then as soon as another opportunity comes around, you're actually going to be leaving. You don't want to do that. No hiring manager here wants to hear that after all the effort they're putting into hiring you, that within 6-12 months, you're walking out the door. So don't leave that impression. That's really important. Don't be generic. Being generic is just giving a bunch of fluffy type information that doesn't really relate to you, the job, or the company. So don't be generic. And of course, don't ramble. You've heard this in my other videos where we're talking about answering interview questions. Don't ramble on and on and on with a bunch of information that's generic or non-specific to where you see yourself in 5 years. So those are my tips. That's how you answer this question. When you do and you follow that formula, you will absolutely knock it out of the park, and the hiring manager will be immediately impressed, and you'll be sailing your way through the interview, landing your dream job. So that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And like I always say, keep rocking those interviews. Until next time, everyone.